The Shib army is at war with itself, and the outcome could decide whether Shiba Inu soars or sinks. Leadership debates, record-breaking 1.5 billion Shibarium transactions, and a 157% burn rate spike are all hitting the charts at the same time, creating the perfect storm for a massive move. But will this internal battle fuel a breakout or destroy momentum? So if you have any interest in Shiba Inu, or you hold any Shib tokens, then you can't afford to miss this video. So what is the latest Shiba Inu coin news? And how will all of this affect the value of Shiba Inu? In today's video, I will be answering these questions, and I'm going to be telling you all of the price-boosting information that has just come out about Shiba Inu. IFBIC, let's take a look at the chart and see what the price of Shiba is doing on the 12th of August, shall we? Shiba Inu's price today is around 1,329 units. Shib's price is up 1% in the last 24 hours, with a 24-hour trading volume of $230 million. The token also currently has a market cap of over $7.8 billion, ranking it as the 29th most valuable cryptocurrency. Please keep in mind these prices might have changed by the time you watch this video. This content is not financial advice. Now let's get into today's video. Shib army split on leadership. Will it boost or sink? Shiba. The Shiba Inu community is having a dogfight over the popular dog-embossed meme coin's leadership, as Satoshi Kusama's call for a Shibi president election received mixed response. Indeed, the initiative to push for a blockchain-based election of Shiba Inu's inaugural president was supposed to unite the Shib army members, but it resulted in more division, free will election, or risk of centralization. Shiba Inu Coin, the unofficial handle on X, posted a message claiming that popular Shibarium Layer 2 projects like WoofSwap are not down with Satoshi Kusama's decision to hold elections, labeling it a distraction. However, Shibarium's lead developer Shai Kusama acknowledged in their blog post that the Shibi presidential elections are in accordance with Ryoshi's vision. Further on, other strong Shib community voices, such as the Dark Shib, contemplated how power often leads to corruption and misuse of something we should steer clear of with blockchain, referring to the decentralized roots of Shiba Inu. Basically, this Shibi member shares the opinion with others thinking that elections would risk centralized control. How did Shib army's squabble affect price? The mounting discussions in regards to the next Shiba Inu community leader have significantly contributed towards Shibi burns. Despite the fire in the doghouse, there's a positive shift in the daily burning record of Shiba Inu. Just in a 24-hour period, Shiba Inu's burning stats saw a 157.59% upswing from yesterday, netting more than 752,300 Shibi in contributions. If you are still watching, it would be massively appreciated if you could go ahead and smash the like button. It costs nothing and really helps support the channel. But keep watching to find out the latest Shiba Inu updates and what the future could hold for the Shiba Inu coin. Shiba Inu's Shibarium blasts through another major milestone, the latest achievement. The total number of transactions processed on Shibarium surpassed 1.5 billion. The addresses that have interacted with the network exceed 267,000, while the total number of blocks has reached almost 12.5 million. Shibarium is specifically designed to reduce the transaction fees, improve speed, and enhance scalability within the Shiba Inu ecosystem. As such, some experts believe its progress can have a boosting effect on the price of Shib. An example is the Bitcoin advocate Jeremy Da Vinci, who said, "I like Shiba Inu, as you know, and I think it will do relatively well in this cycle, but it may not go as high as you expect. I think Shiba Inu has a lot of utility now that they have Shibarium, and basically, it's a chain that you can actually run all kinds of applications. However, nobody is using it, and there are no applications for using your tokens on Shibarium yet. If they get that solved, Shiba Inu will go to the moon." Despite Shibarium's milestone, the meme coin remains in the red zone on a daily scale. Some factors, though, suggest the price might head north soon. Shiba Inu's burn rate has exploded by over 150%, resulting in roughly 750,000 tokens being sent to a null address. The USD equivalent of the destroyed stash is insignificant, but continuous efforts in that field will make Shib scarcer and potentially more valuable in time. Shib's exchange net flow is also worth monitoring. Outflows have surpassed inflows in the past week, meaning investors have shifted from centralized platforms to self-custody methods. This, in turn, reduces the immediate selling pressure. Now it's time for the main story of today's video. Shiba Inu's 156% moonshot, triggered by whale war at 1,400 units resistance. Shiba Inu price is actually facing a pretty decisive battle right now at the 1,400 units resistance level, where analyst predictions are suggesting a potential 156% surge if key support levels can hold. The meme coin is currently trading at around 1,318 units, as CoinGecko reveals, with some $257 million in daily volume, and it's positioning itself for either a major breakout or maybe even a deeper correction. How Shiba Inu's whale sentiment, burn rate, and Shibarium milestone fuel price surge. Analyst predicts 156% Shib rally. Right now, things are getting pretty interesting for Shiba Inu price action, and analyst Javon Marks had this to say about the potential. Shib's still fresh off of a divergence that was confirmed earlier this year, and prices may only be preparing for a run in result of this. With that divergence, prices of Shiba could climb over 156% to reach the 3,200 units levels, and that may only be the start of a larger reversal. The Shiba Inu resistance level at 1,400 units actually represents around 522 trillion Shib tokens, which makes whale sentiment really crucial for any upward movement. At the time of writing, about 41% of holders are remaining profitable, and this is creating some pressure around this critical zone. Community governance fuels burn rate surge. The Shiba burn rate has reached a whopping level of 157% in just the last 24 hours. This has burned about 752,300 tokens, with some interesting and captivating community debates taking place as well. The actual spike was caused by these debates and the upcoming leadership elections. Swap is one of the elements that is being debated actively right now. Shiba Inu price benefits from this reduced supply through these burns, while Shiba Inu whale sentiment remains somewhat mixed following recent corrections. The bull-bear power metric has shifted bearish after 5 consecutive days of gains, and this is affecting market dynamics. Shibarium has actually processed over 1.5 billion transactions with some 267,000 active addresses as we speak. This is creating some more pressure on Shiba Inu price movements. Bitcoin advocate Jeremy Da Vinci had this to say: "I like Shiba Inu, as you know, and I think it will do relatively well in this cycle, but it may not go as high as you expect. I think Shiba Inu has a lot of utility now that they have Shibarium, and basically, it's a chain that you can actually run all kinds of applications. However, nobody is using it, and there are no applications for using your tokens on Shibarium yet. If they get that solved, Shiba Inu will go to the moon." Many of our subscribers comment that they are not going to sell Shib for the next 5 years and hold millions of them because they believe in the Shiba Inu developers and the real-world value of Shib. How many are you guys holding?
Whales cannot be stopped. Trillions of Shiba Inu tokens, hundreds of millions of dollars. And the data suggests that this is just the beginning. People are waking up seeing these numbers, trying to benefit from this opportunity. But what is actually happening? And how long will this market craze last? Well, let's find out. Disclaimer: the market has pivoted to a recovery phase, but some altcoins still haven't reclaimed their yearly highs, despite Bitcoin spiking above the $71,000 threshold. Shiba Inu is also part of this recovery trend, but is facing strong resistance due to multiple sell walls. A sell wall occurs when a large number of sell orders are placed at a particular price level, creating a barrier that can be difficult for the price to rise above. For example, imagine there are 100 Shiba Inu tokens available for sale at 1 penny. If buyers only want to purchase 50 tokens at that price, the supply at that level is much higher than that demand, making it hard for the market to buy the tokens that are available at that price to move up past 1 penny. However, there is a way we can surpass these sell walls and achieve new highs for Shiba Inu. But before we dive into that, we need to take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin. Today has been a literally crazy day for Bitcoin, and its impact on Shiba Inu is enormous. Spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds, or ETFs, have achieved their longest streak of consecutive net inflows since they launched, with 18 straight days of positive flows as of Thursday. Since launching in January 2021, the price of Shiba Inu has increased by $1.2 billion, and even though the current inflows are still lower than the peak levels in March. According to the Block's data dashboard, the sustained positive net inflows, especially driven by BlackRock, highlight continued strong interest and confidence in Bitcoin among investors. 18 days in a row of positive inflows definitely gives us a bullish sign. It shows that more and More investors are putting their money into crypto, which is some very good news for any crypto enthusiast, but traditional investors aren't the only ones accumulating Bitcoin. Just take a look at this crypto whale. According to a report by Wu Blockchain based on research from CryptoQuant, around $1 billion worth of Bitcoin is being added every day to a massive new whale wallet. In total, long-term holders have amassed 70 Bitcoin over the last 30 days, with whale demand increasing at a rate of 4.4% per month. And now you might be wondering if 4.4 is a big number. It definitely is. To put it in perspective, if you start with $10,000 and add 4.4% every month in 5 years, you'd have a lot more than you might expect after 5 years. That 10,000 would grow to around $87,000. This shows how powerful a 4.4% monthly increase can be over time, highlighting the significant impact of the current whale demand on Bitcoin's market. But in addition to that, just today, according to CoinGlass data, Bitcoin open interest has reached a new all-time high peak of $37 billion open. Interest refers to the total dollar amount of Bitcoin in the last 5 years, which is about a third of the total dollar amount of outstanding Bitcoin futures or options contracts. And you might be wondering, is this metric important? Absolutely. Open interest is a crucial indicator of market sentiment and activity in the futures and options markets. A high level of open interest suggests that there is significant trading activity and interest in Bitcoin derivatives, indicating a strong and active market. So while some may have thought that the crypto market is flat and boring right now, it actually isn't. The record-breaking open interest is a significant indicator of the market, and Bitcoin futures and options demonstrates that there is still plenty of excitement and activity happening in the crypto space. But here's something very interesting. Despite the strong inflows and a Bitcoin rally past 71.0, Google Trends data reveals a surprising trend. Compared to 2021, hardly any Americans are conducting searches related to Bitcoin, FSITs, price, or crypto in general. Google Trends assigns a value out of 100 based on a search interest relative peak popularity. For example, on June 5, searches for Bitcoin originating from the US scored only 31, while Bitcoin ETF had a mere 1. Other related searches such as Bitcoin price and crypto received slightly higher index scores of 18 and 13, respectively, but still remained significantly below the search volumes during 2021's retail-driven bull run. Interest in crypto-related searches has dwindled over the year. There were spikes in interest across the board. On January 11th, the price of Bitcoin has been rising for the past year, and the price of Bitcoin has been all-time high for the first time since 2021. It's noteworthy that search interest for Bitcoin peaked in May 2021, a few weeks after surpassing 50 for the first time and just before reaching its long-standing all-time high of nearly 69 in November 2021. Crypto analyst Miles Dutcher shared data indicating a significant decline in viewership of crypto-related YouTube channels compared to 2021, despite Bitcoin surpassing its previous all-time high in 2021. During Bitcoin's peak, crypto YouTube channels were garnering around 4 million daily views. However, in 2024, despite Bitcoin reaching new highs, daily views have dropped to approximately 800,000. Dutcher emphasized, retail isn't back yet. According to him, there's no better indicator of the current state of the market than crypto YouTube views. This decline in viewership suggests that mainstream retail interest in cryptocurrency has not returned to the level seen during the 2021 bull run, despite Bitcoin's price reaching new heights. But still, with 18 days of Bitcoin ETF inflows and massive whale accumulation, you might wonder, Why hasn't the price skyrocketed yet? Where's the impact of these developments? Well, that's a good question. Analyst Jimmy sheds some light on this. He explains that spot Bitcoin ETFs worldwide hold only about 5% of the total Bitcoin circulating supply, while the majority is held by whales. Jimmy notes that while ETF inflows are indeed significant, they are still minimal compared to the volume of Bitcoin being traded and sold by these large holders. He emphasizes that for every buyer in the market, there needs to be a seller, and the actions of these major players can heavily influence price movements. Even though the price might not react immediately, the recent developments such as 18 consecutive days of inflows into Bitcoin, ETFs, and whales accumulating Bitcoin are still considered bullish. This is because these actions demonstrate a growing interest and confidence in Bitcoin as an asset class among both institutional investors and individual traders. While the price might not reflect these developments right away due to various factors influencing the market, such as short-term speculation and profit-taking, the underlying trend indicates a strengthening foundation for Bitcoin's long-term growth. Essentially, these actions lay the groundwork for future price increases. In the long term, the price of Bitcoin is expected to rise to $1.5 billion, which is a significant increase in the market's day-to-day fluctuations. But what about Shiba Inu? Well, if Bitcoin experiences a significant price increase due to recent developments, it will have a massive impact on Shiba Inu. We know that Shiba Inu is highly sensitive to Bitcoin movements and shares a strong correlation with it. Currently, Shiba Inu faces a major obstacle in the form of a massive sell wall, according to Into the Block data. This wall represents a threshold. We're over the top. Over 64,000 addresses collectively hold 69 trillion Shiba Inu tokens, which is over 10% of the entire supply. The selling pressure from these addresses often leads to corrections in Shiba Inu's price, as we've seen in recent movements. As a result, Shiba Inu has retraced most of the gains it made during the recent rally. This situation can be frustrating for Shiba Inu investors, as the presence of such a large sell wall can impede its upward momentum. However, Shiba Inu is now aiming to sell Shiba Inu, stabilize above its current price level, and use it as a foundation for a second upward push when bullish sentiment returns. To surpass this immediate sell wall, Shiba Inu would need to confidently close above 4027. But with the potential upcoming push in Bitcoin's price, according to previous patterns, this should significantly benefit Shiba Inu. This is precisely what we need for Shiba Inu to overcome its current challenges and resume its upward trajectory. But what is your opinion on that? Comment down below. I'd be eager to read your opinion. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please like this video and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. This really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please share this video to as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there. Shiba Inu dev team is not messing around. They are working on a massive update and just revealed a small piece of it. But that is actually just the tip of the iceberg. Just today, the crypto world went crazy. BlackRock, coupled with big players, stepped in and bringing their hundreds of millions of dollars. And Shiba will arguably benefit the most of the entire crypto space. But what is actually going on? And what on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. While people are still celebrating BlackRock's recent victory over Grayscale, often called the crypto evil among some users. A new problem has come up today. For those unfamiliar, just after the first Bitcoin ETF got approved, BlackRock and other firms started seeing huge amounts of money, millions of dollars, flowing into their Bitcoin ETFs every day. Many people thought this was the start of a big bull run. And not the bull run just for Bitcoin, but for the entire crypto space. This makes much sense. And the reason for this excitement is simple. Just days after the ETF was approved, hundreds of millions of dollars started pouring into these Bitcoin ETFs daily. This huge amount of money showed that big investors were finally jumping into the crypto market, bringing lots of cash and confidence with them. It's like a small local farmers market, where vendors usually sell their produce to locals with small amounts of cash. When suddenly they see trucks arriving, not just regular trucks, but with piles of cash. These trucks are packed with money, ready to be spent. This sudden influx of cash tells the farmers that something big is happening. In the same way, the hundreds of millions flowing into Bitcoin ETFs signaled to many that a major change was happening, with big money entering the market and possibly kicking off a significant rise in cryptocurrency prices. But this is where a problem has come up. There's a player called Grayscale that had huge loads of Bitcoin even before the ETF was approved. But where did they get it in the first place? Well, to remind you, they were one of the first to offer Bitcoin Trust for investing in Bitcoin, so they accumulated a hefty amount over time, while BlackRock and others were just getting started with their Bitcoin reserves. Grayscale already had a mountain of it. Then, just as excitement peaked and inflows surged into Bitcoin, Grayscale shocked everyone by offloading hundreds of millions worth of Bitcoin every single day. This triggered multiple crashes. While the influx of funds from institutions like BlackRock initially seemed like a bullish sign, it took a while before it translated into actual price growth, simply because Grayscale's massive selling pressure put a lid on Bitcoin's rise. And since many other cryptocurrencies follow Bitcoin's lead, they were stuck in a rut too. But nevertheless, the bulls were unstoppable, and Bitcoin finally rose to make new all-time highs, over $70,000. As mentioned earlier, most cryptos tend to follow Bitcoin's lead, but one stands out for its unique behavior. It's Shiba Inu, a crypto that's super sensitive to the world's most important cryptocurrencies. When Bitcoin heads up, Shiba Inu goes even higher, doubling the excitement. But when Bitcoin takes a dive, Shiba Inu feels it double hard, taking a heavier blow to its price. And when Bitcoin recently hit its new all-time high just a little time later, Shiba Inu's price literally tripled in just a few days. This was a huge event, and some people are still celebrating it, even though it's been 3 months since it happened. But now, 3 months later, the hype has cooled down. This cooling down is common after big price spikes as the market settles. So now, the focus has shifted to something different. Just a week ago, out of the blue, the Ethereum ETF was approved. Trading hasn't started yet, so we haven't seen a huge impact on the crypto market just yet. However, the speculation and excitement are rising. This situation reminds us of what happened with Bitcoin when its ETF was approved back in January. It saw hundreds of millions of dollars flowing in every day, eventually making Bitcoin to hit new all-time highs. And what's interesting is that the excitement and speculation around the Ethereum ETF are especially noticeable among the Shiba Inu community. They're drawing parallels from the past and wondering, will the Ethereum ETF ETF have the same explosive effect on Shiba Inu's price as the Bitcoin ETF did? Well, that's a question worth pondering. And this is where things get interesting. People were expecting the impact of the Ethereum ETF to be even bigger and faster than it was with Bitcoin. They thought it wouldn't take months to see significant changes. Mainly because there isn't a big player like Grayscale ready to dump massive amounts of Ethereum right after the ETF trading starts. But today, everything changed. It was actually a known fact before, but today, it became widespread news. Grayscale holds a huge amount of Ethereum too. This revelation has shocked many, and some are even angry. Simply because now they realize that just like with Bitcoin, Grayscale could potentially unleash a flood of Ethereum into the market, dampening any rapid price increases and possibly causing crashes, just as they did before. But before coming to any conclusions, let's dive into some analysis to get a clearer picture of what might happen next. In the days leading up to the Ethereum ETF approval, Ether's value surged by almost a third. However, just after the actual approval, worries about Grayscale's Ethereum trust started to loom large. This trust manages a whopping $11 billion in Ethereum, making it a major player in the market. And here's where it gets interesting. Significant outflows from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust over the past few months, which balanced out the effects of hefty inflows. Investors are worried about a repeat scenario. When spot Bitcoin ETFs got the green light, Grayscale Bitcoin experienced a whopping $6.5 billion in outflows within a month, accounting for 23% of its assets under management. A report by Kiko Research estimated that if history repeats itself, we could see average daily outflows from Grayscale Ethereum